and welcome to our next session for APUSH Bootcamp Week 7. Here's what you need to know if you are missing our in-person session this week. So we are wrapping up our series of 4 lessons on the British colonies. So we've worked through the factors of why the colonies developed and expanded, interactions with American Indians, and causes and effects of slavery. And now today, the skill-based objective that we're going to be working on is identifying and describing a historical context for a specific historical development or process. This is called contextualization. So you had short reading this week with AMSCO and then Taylor chapter 12. You're continuing your FBI notes, your postings, and then you are completing period 2 objectives C, E, and F and completing the graphic organizer for the middle colonies. So, as always, we have our reading questions. What are you remembering? What information is specific to the middle colonies? Always keeping in mind that comparison. In what ways are they similar to, say, New England? In what ways are they similar to, say, the southern colonies? What are the major differences? So, by now, after 4 weeks of looking at the colonies, you should have some very specific similarities and differences that you should be able to explain. Not only do you want to be able to explain what those similarities and differences are, but you need to be able to identify why the differences occurred. So that is essential knowledge for these last 4 weeks. And hopefully that graphic organizer that you've been working on will be really helpful for you in identifying and explaining those similarities and differences. Already talked about the graphic organizer here. Okay, so to wrap up kind of our colonization unit here or focus, we're going to be working on a review chart here. So the first thing you're going to do is a European colonization review. So looking at the Spanish, the French, the Dutch, and the English. And you're going to place each of those words in the correct spot. Now, as you can see, fur trade, for example, has a 2 behind it. So you want to put that in the 2 countries that were most involved in the fur trade. Similarly, the second chart you're going to work on is the New England, Middle, Chesapeake, and Southern colonies. And there's quite a few different ones there like cash crops, commerce. And keep in mind that you're just trying to do the best category. So I highly recommend you do the words that you know first and then fill in as you go from there. The heart of today's lesson is going to be the introduction to contextualization. So you definitely want to watch the video, How to Write Contextualization, and then do the worksheet as you listen. So the video goes along with the first 2 pages of the worksheet, and then the third page is extra practice on a prompt related to period 2. So what you're trying to do with contextualization is you're explaining the broader context. What is the situation of the prompt? And again, I explain all of this in that lesson, so I'm not going to go in depth on it here, but make sure you watch this video this week. This is an essential skill for especially the DBQ and the LEQ. So complete your initial post on Padlet, do your FBI reading notes, complete your objectives, complete your graphic organizer. And then from today's, hopefully you had time to work through the review chart and the contextualization lesson. We just have 1 more week of boot camp, so I hope you're hanging in there. I'll see you next week.